Watts was, if I can look at it that way, Watts was good training ground, and he had a good territory with a lot of good talent. But not so much the national end of it. And then Atlanta wasn't that national at the time either. So,
Right.
but it was just more of a smoother operation. You know what? It was the difference was there was more money behind
Right.
that 74 operation in Atlanta. because
Wasn't like
Turner
struggling.
Was back at it. Yeah.
Right.
So things started to it looked more professional.
What was Watts like though back? Was
He
he,
was
he like
hard.
what everybody says he is?
Yeah, he was pretty hardcore. He was. He was Leroy McGurk's right hand man.
Right.
And then when then he took over from Leroy, and he run a hard ship. I mean
The travel was
travel
shit.
was horrible. He had no heart. The man obviously didn't have a heart because we would drive from Oklahoma City to New Orleans all night long, and then we'd drive from New Orleans on a Monday night to be in Monroe on Tuesday and hadn't slept, and then we'd drive to Jackson on Wednesday and Thursday. Who knows? We traveled so much, 100,000 miles.
Yeah, like I know Jack Richard pretty well. He's like, yeah, 3 cars, 2,700 miles a week, every week.
And what are you making? I mean, we were relatively almost on top. When I say almost on top, we were in the middle to on top.
Semi-final.
Yeah, and what was it, 800 a week?
It's not worth it for all that.
And you're spending a fortune in motel rooms and gas and car But you know what? You had to do that. And I went back to Oklahoma. What was I thinking? I went back and worked
Back to
for
hell?
Watts. But
Did it change or nah?
No.
Same.
It was pretty rough. It wasn't as bad. But it was still bad. It was still rough. Orndorff was on the scene then. Because I remember Paul and I was in Oklahoma. And Jake the Snake was getting started.
Was that when JYD was started to get, or
JYD
was getting his real big, huge push? Freebirds were in. Was Hate? They weren't in yet.
They weren't in yet, I don't think.
So this is before like New Orleans, the Superdome, all that. A little before that.
Yeah, a little before that, because in New Orleans we used to wrestle downtown
At the auditorium.
Yeah, which was rough. But in Oklahoma in '80 and '81 is where I started getting a little bit of a push. I got to like the middle of the card, semifinal. Watts give me a break, because by then too my wrestling ability had improved. My psychology was always kind of there, but it was honed and tuned up because of the 8 years on the road prior as a manager, and then the Florida experience and the Carolina experience, and watching great talent. Got to Oklahoma, interjected that in there, and I start to see stuff come around. I could with confidence walk out and do a semifinal match or middle of the card match.
Now at that time, what would you think was the best place you worked at that time?
Up to that point,
Yeah, what territory?
Florida, because it was home,
Right.
and it was fun. Florida was always fun. We always had fun down there.
Okay. So what ended up with Watts at the second time? Just
back to Florida, back home. Wanted to get home. Did my run in 81, 82, or 81. Yeah, 81, 82, and give or take a year.
And your wife was still with you on the road?
Yeah, man. We lived in Tulsa. And in Baton Rouge, and she was still with me. Yeah, still hanging in there.
Did she start to go to the matches?
No, she stayed away from it then.
Right.
She was stable enough and experienced enough to stay home.
Right.
By then and take care of everything.